everyone. It's Sunday night. This has to be the APAT Show. Lee, we've got a hell of a lot going on tonight, haven't we?
We certainly have. It's end of the month, which means it's championship weekend. So the culmination of 13 events started on Thursday night, and we've got 4 more going on tonight. So we're going to jump straight into it, Des, because we got 3 players left in the deep stack that started at 5 o'clock tonight. 5K guarantee in that, over $1,000 up top. So we're going to focus straight away on the remaining 3 players in that. We've got Felix from Austria, Leanne from Ireland, and Julius, should we go with, from the UK. So they are our 3 players remaining. All fairly even stacks in this. Blinds are 80,000, 160,000. So these guys now have all got locked up $560. And one of them's going to double that. With the top prize tonight. So that's what we've got happening at the moment. We'll keep an eye on. But of course, we've also got the 2 main events. No Limit Hold'em one started at 7 o'clock tonight. The PLO started at 8. There's about 10 more minutes left of late reg in that PLO if you fancy getting involved in that. $5,000 guarantee in the PLO, which is getting close to that. A little bit of value in the No Limit Hold'em tonight, Des. 321 runners in the end are going to share the guaranteed prize pool of $20,000.
Nice.
Which means it's going to be just over $3,500 up top for a $55 buy-in 2-day event. Not bad, is it?
It's absolutely fantastic. And, for us to be bringing back 2 tournaments tomorrow night, so effectively 2 2-day tourneys in this championship weekend, it's pretty cool. I'd like to be coming back on a Monday evening. There'll be a bit of focus in on those last 2 tables. I suspect the main will get the majority of the focus, but I guess we'll look at the fields just to see who we've got in there, right?
Yeah, completely. I mean, so we'll be bringing back. So we're bringing back 16 to the main event. So they'll be well in the money at that point. They'll all have guaranteed about $200 odd each. So we'll see how that plays out. Now I'm hoping there's going to be a few more late entries into the PLO just to get that prize pool. It's currently paying 13, and we're due to bring back 14 tomorrow. That would be very unfortunate for one person.
That would be bad. That would be bad. That would not be great.
That wouldn't be great for one person if that was the case. Maybe what we'll do, if it does end up like that, maybe we'll arrange a ticket for whoever finishes 14.
No, so I'll tell you what, it's value town all the way with APAT. So guys, we're trying out a new version of our software tonight. So if anything goes wrong, if the stream falls over or whatever, we sort of have to say this when you're trying a beta version. We'll simply just start it all up again. Okay, so just be aware of that. Say hello in the comments box so we know you're there. That would be good. We are also, Lee, I don't even know if you know this. Of course, that we're streaming out to YouTube, right? We do that for almost a library function. We don't really, proactively try and talk to people on YouTube or stuff like that. But this latest version of the platform allows us to pull in comments from YouTube and from Facebook. So if we get to a position where actually those things can be merged, it might make more sense for us to be a bit more proactive around YouTube as well. So a couple of things that we're looking out for tonight that I might have a little play about with. So if I do strange things, you'll know why.
What more strange than normal, yeah? Yeah.
So. That's a very good point. I have to say my Sunday nights for the last year, they feel to have been a little bit strange, I have to say.
I mean, we are a year, officially a year of lockdown, aren't we?
Well, I don't know if you saw it. I got a reminder this morning when I got up of a video that I made a year ago on Facebook. And I think I called it End of Days. Right, we were about 10 or 12 days in, and we were talking. Oh God, there's 10 dead. It's absolutely terrible. Trump, I think, was talking about getting America sort of back to business by like Easter, which was about 2 weeks away. Christ above, we have no idea. We had absolutely no idea how this last year was going to go. We didn't see this coming at all.
And I don't think actually it's fair to probably for people to dwell too much on some of the stuff that was said a year ago when people were trying to stay positive and not watch civilization crumble around everybody. Because I think they knew how kind of it fairly serious the situation was, but you've got to kind of make these decisions and act in a kind of positive manner. Some of the stuff Trump came out with, it was just completely.
It was absolutely bonkers, but in many respects, it kept us going. It kept us going for a year. We had no idea. And I suppose we're sat here sensing that, we're coming out of it again. And we might be. And there's a lot of naysayers out there, a lot of folks out there sort of saying, there's no virus. It doesn't exist. It's not really a thing. Yeah. It's just some guy got sick in Norfolk and that's it. The rest of it is a tax dodge of some sort. So I don't quite understand all of that. I'm not that advanced in my thinking, but we don't know, do we? I mean, we could be back undercover in September, October. I mean, if a third wave comes in.
The talk is that there's the possibility. I'd like to think in the UK, perhaps with the level of vaccine that we're now at, that that might not be as big a deal. Perhaps, but I still don't think they're 100% sure.
I know.
What's going on?
I had to call my local doctor. I'm registered there, but I hadn't been for a little while, so I just thought, I'm sort of.
I have a story. I can outbeat you. I think. Well, whatever doctor.
We'll see. We'll see. So anyway, I called them up a couple of mornings ago and said, I just, I want to just check if I'm still registered. And she had a look in the old computer. I think she had to go to a filing system. Found me. She said, "No, I'm sorry, you've fallen out." She said, "When was the last time you were in?" I said, "I think it was about 23 years ago." I've been reasonably okay over the last 23 years. I'm thankful, but I think I need to get this thing done. So I re-registered last week. I haven't heard anything back from them yet. But I'm
in a similar situation.
It's crazy, isn't it? There's probably a lot of men, maybe women, but certainly men.
But I had this conversation. See, Jen thinks I'm an absolute anomaly, and everybody's registered with the doctor, and it's not a problem. But I registered with the doctor back in 1994.
Oh, it's impressive.
When I went to university in Southampton.
Nice hand, sir.
And I've never really changed.
Never been in. Oh, that's so funny.
Since then, and I've never been. So, they have no record of me. I don't have an NHS number or anything. I've tried to download the app and do all these things, and to be able to book in a vaccine, and no can do.
When I was
having to re-register as well. So
it's just crazy times. When I was down in Bournemouth, 2-3 years ago, Lee, when I was doing some stuff down there. I went through like a 4-month period where my left shoulder got like really sore, to the point that I could barely put anything on. It was really, really bad. And I convinced myself, you've got some sort of arthritis and that'll be okay. That happens, right? You get that. And 4 months, I could barely get anything on. And eventually, it just sort of righted itself over time. And but I didn't go to a doctor. I don't want to be bothering them with stuff like that. I mean, sort itself, right?
I didn't even want to bother them just to even get registered, but I actually ended up having to make a phone call in the end because the websites are rubbish and I couldn't find anything that I needed to know. But anyway, loads of people in the chat.
Well, listen, we're going to get to the chat box, but before we get to the chat box, I have a message for them. Let us know, guys, if you're the same, right? And ladies, are you all registered with doctors? Have you rushed to your phones with this vaccine thing coming? Let us know. Is it just Lee and I that have been a bit slack in doing all of this?
Please all say you're the same, so I can print it out and show Jen.
Please, I'd like to show Sean. She's not impressed either, I have to say.
No.
But you are super right, Lee. There is a lot of people in there. Ace is in there, seeing the evening team. Evening Ace, good to hear you. Greg Mawson is there with a hi. Hi to you, Greg. We've got Mr. Wigglesworth, Mr. Chaplin are also with us. Kai Hutchinson has popped in. Evening, gents. Nice to be able to play this evening. Enjoying the events. Actually, that's nice to hear because it is a nice little schedule of events, Lee. Right? Plenty of events, all tightly strung together. Good guarantees. Asa says, chess. FFS. Chess? Chess.
I'm assuming Kai's been playing chess, or maybe Kai.
There you go. Kai's come back and said, been busy with work, mate. I'll get back on it. Hope you've been practicing. The teachers, Lee, are all back. Right? It must be a hell. Kai, let us know. What was it like going back? It must have been a bit of a
Well, I
shock
get
to
to
the
have a good
system.
chat. I get to have a good chat with Phil Coles, because Phil and Claire are
Yeah.
regulars on our Friday quiz.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
yeah.
they've been doing it now for weeks and weeks and weeks. So I have a good catch up with Phil every Friday night. They sit in their front room trying to do the quiz and struggling at the science question.
Do you see them on video, Lee? So is everybody like on Zoom?
Yeah, everyone's on video. Yeah.
We've got to do. You got to do one for us. You got to put one on for APAT.
Yeah. It's good. Just good. It's a good bit of fun. It's a nice way of just sort of going. Actually, they have more fun when the quiz finishes and we do we kind of do the after show party, and everyone stays on and just starts talking nonsense. So
that's good. So listen,
all good fun.
Stefan Fisher is there and says, good evening there. So good evening to you, Stefan. Grace says, comments popping up on the TV stream. New software. Indeed.
Where's that? Tell us where. Yeah.
Very, very, very worrying. Kai says, I just completed my LF test in the break. My LF test. Don't know.
Nope.
Don't know.
Sure.
Let us know, Kai. Stefan says, just busted out of the 55 PLO. And then he goes on, he mentions some cards. Bad stuff happened. You have our sympathies, young man. Asa says,
I'm reading double suited and
yeah, I can't
stuff like that.
I can't be.
Actually, it's something I do want to talk about tonight, so I'll save it. But
write that down. Write that down.
That kind of thing is something I'll bring up and we'll have a quick chat about later on.
Yeah, listen, Asa says absolutely the same here. So it's either he's incredibly busy and he can't play the chess with Kai, or he hasn't been to the doctor either in years. It could be either of them.
Lateral flow test. There we go. There we go. Okay.
Nice.
Right.
That sounds like fun. Kai says it's been great being back. The pupils have been amazing. Well, that's good. I have to say, I mean, my lot have just got back to it. It's been just happy days, like they switching a tap back on, it feels like. Oh yeah, it was COVID test, lateral flow COVID test. So there we go, guys. Lots of you in the chat. That is good. I'm trying to see if I can test these comments, Lee.
Oh, right.
What?
Okay.
What?
So I'm just looking now. So it's
What?
Oh, right. So Greg's just sent me a picture. So he's basically got his must be his stream up, and I'm not sure what he's watching that on, whether he's on
his telly
YouTube or whether he's on Facebook. So he might be on YouTube then. But so when like Asa puts a message, it comes up in the bottom left hand corner and it says it's Asa's and the message that Asa said. So lateral flow test. So it's popping up on the screen over. So for the best way to describe it, so you can see where the Julius's cards are there at the bottom left of the screen.
Yeah.
Well, just below that,
yeah,
Greg gets a little pop-up bubble.
Yeah.
With the message. So what are you watching it on then, Greg? Because I don't see that on my Facebook version. So he might be watching it on YouTube maybe. Or maybe he's got something within Facebook
no idea.
that's doing that. But let us know, because that looks really cool actually. Can
you send me the picture, Lee? Or is it in the chat or what?
He messaged me. I will ping it across to you on WhatsApp.
No idea. But that sounds bizarre. So you're saying the comments are actually showing on the video?
Yeah. I'm going to see if I can drag. Oh, I can't drag that.
That isn't what I was expecting at all.
Hang on a minute. And paste that there for you. There you go. It's on your WhatsApp now.
Okay, thank you. Oh yeah. Let's have a look. Bloody hell.
It's cool, isn't it?
That's not what I was expecting. Why would you want the comments there? I mean, the comments are in the... so I suppose it'd be great if you were streaming this to your TV.
So Greg says he airplays the stream from his Facebook onto his TV, and it's on the Facebook stream. It's
right.
Cool.
Well, I think that's probably a Facebook development. I don't think that's tied into what I'm expecting.
I don't get that on my Facebook version. So
are you? But you're not streaming it up to your TV. You're not airplaying it, are you?
No. So maybe it's airplaying the video.
So therefore, you're not seeing the comments. Okay. So that's good in that respect. You're not seeing the comments. It makes perfect sense. Like that. Jesus, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, that's quite neat, to say the least. So I'll tell you what we'll do. I'm just gonna roll back a few days and just give a couple of shout outs. First event of the championship weekend was the Mixed Max PKO, and that was won by Gustavo Ornelas from Brazil. Picked up that one. The stud was won by Gavin Hall from the UK. We then had the Turbo Championship that was Sandro Zariello from Austria. The PLO8 PKO champion was Paul McTaggart.
There's a name from Blonde going back.
From the UK. And then last night, the PKO champ was Min Ji, who beat Brian Yates heads up last night. Huge final heads up. The bounty count on that was insane. The Min won, I think, off the top of my head, I want to say won double in bounties than got from the prize pool.
Wow.
It was incredible. Last night, absolutely incredible. 161 runners in that last night. I think it was something like $400 up top, and then won about $800 in bounties or something absolutely insane. And the PLO PKO champ last night was Artem Pishin from Russia. So that's everyone that's
great.
So they've been dotted around the globe so far.
Hey, I'll tell you, Lee. Let's see if we can figure this out. Big winners, right? Big winners. Can there be a bigger winner in the last week than this one? Let me see if I can play this for you. Where's the thing? Where is the thing? Occasionally, here we go. Occasionally it looks like I know what I'm doing, but mostly I
took the chip lead and then went out in that ridiculously huge flip, which some may see as totally unnecessary and ICM suicide. Cashes in third place for $707,639. We are heads up, and it's not an even heads up battle. Vanessa Cade, huge advantage, 1.2 million. Taliban is barely a 10 big blind stack, all in with King 9 against eights. Eights are holding, and eights hold, and we have a winner. This is over. The Sunday Million 15th anniversary played to its conclusion. And it is Canadian poker pro and streamer Vanessa Cade who takes it down for $1.5 million. Second place is Talibanis for just over $1 million. What a tournament. What a final.
You want to see a screen balance? This is the most beautiful thing of all time. Oh my god, I can't even, I'm slurring. It's so bad. We're so drunk. Okay. Look at this. Look at this. You know what this said? You know what this said yesterday? I deposit for my third bullet. I literally deposited off of my credit card for bullet number 3. It just says 1.5 M. Like I can't even handle this. Like it's too much.
Wow.
She came across so brilliantly in that post-tournament Twitch stream that she did. Genuinely one of the most kind of level-headed, down-to-earth poker players who's just won $1.5 million. You could imagine. Really, really nice to see.
Well, what she said there about, she had to use a credit card to play the third bullet, right? So that means your balance is pretty low if you're having to, deposit funds to play a bullet. And just her speechlessness, effectively, as she's shown us a balance on account of $1.5 million, that's pretty astonishing. I mean, that is why players play this game, right?
Yeah, but she seemed seemed down to earth. Oh, just as the
we just lost her.
Unfortunate for Leanne. It was the hand before that really did for her. She lost her, but got her aces busted against the ace 10 of Elias, who had 2 10s on the board. All went in the very next hand. And King 10 versus 7-8. So Leanne departs in second place,
lucky,
but picking up $800 for her efforts tonight in the deep stack, and Ilias wins 1.1K.
Nice, that's
in that
great.
Deep stack. So that's pretty good going.
Where are we going to go to next, Lee?
I'm just having a look now. So probably keeping an eye on on the closer probably will make sense, because I'm looking at the main event. Just to give you an update where we are on the main event, guys, we're in level 16 of the main event, 68 runners remaining, top 55 are being paid. So we're starting to get down to the money bubble on that one. And you'll be pleased to know, Des, we got to 88 in the Omaha, which means we're paying 14. So when we're bringing back 14. So that
great.
Means,
Good.
No problem with that. So Stuart Pillinger is currently chip leader in the PLO tonight.
Wow.
So whatever. Yeah. So back to so a couple of things with Vanessa. So her stars table alias. Do you know it, or did you notice it?
I didn't particularly pay attention.
Okay, so
to
she plays under the alias Niffler.
Niffler, right?
Niffler.
That's right.
So, yeah. Do you know where that originates from?
No.
Okay, we'll put it.
Should I be putting it back to front or something?
See if anybody in the chat knows the origin of Niffler. Well, I'm assuming it's the reason why she chose Niffler. Might be wrong. There might be another reason, but we'll see if anybody in the chat knows the origins of.
Well, I'm not sure about Niffler, but Drew Atkins is in the chat, and he says,
"Excellent,
get the harp." Quite right, get the harp, Drew. Hope you're having a good Sunday there, my friend.
And he's still in the main. I'm by the looks of that. Just trying to find him now. See how he's getting on.
Good man.
Yeah, he is. He's 27th of 67 players.
Great. So, nice going. But Vanessa Cade, so let's see if anybody knows the background to Niffler, but she has been in the news since December. She is I suppose a known player, but not a particularly well-known player, I would have thought. But she seems to have gotten into a bit of a scrap with Dan Bilzerian, the GG Poker pro, who was basically pretty nasty to her.
Yeah, I think that's fairly accurate.
That's. I think he might have even said something along the lines of, "Nobody knows who you are, ho," or something.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's just nasty, right?
That was yeah. And to be fair, it's I think that was about the only kind of interaction he really had with her, but it's enough. And it's obviously what kicked off the whole thing then around GG Poker and their ambassadors and should is misogyny in the game, and if so, what should they do about it, and that kind of thing. And I think if you ever wanted to throw back the keep quiet, nobody knows who you are, the way to do it is to go and win the biggest online comp.
It's pretty cool. Pretty cool trick,
year, isn't it? Yeah.
Pretty cool trick.
Absolutely. Well, we've got someone that does know. So Pete Wigglesworth. He's gone in with a subtle Harry Potter question mark. So he is along the right lines. It is from the world of Harry Potter.
Niffler.
Yes, but it's from the follow-up, the films of Fantastic Beasts and
okay.
And where
never got there.
If you've never got there, so there's a creature in one of them that's a little cute little animal, but steals everything that's shiny, all the gold. So goes in and literally around and has got little pockets and scurries in around, gathering it all up.
She's lived up to her name, hasn't she? She's stolen all of the shiny stuff.
When I saw it, I was like, "That's perfect, absolutely perfect." What a great screen name to have.
Triplin has come in and he said, "I bet people know her now, though." Right, fair play, too right. So let me know, guys. My next question for the chat box is: if you won $1.5 million, what would be the first thing you'd buy? Right, genuinely, if you won $1.5 million, in something like the Sunday Million or the Millions or whatever it might be, $1.5 million, what are you going to buy? Do tell us. I'm interested.
Yeah, I mean, she was very on the Twitch feed. Very much was, I've got my flat and I don't really drive much, and I'm not really into these kind of things, and so she was. It was very. So
that's
relaxed.
Very down. That sounds very down to earth.
Were you watching it when she phoned her parents? Oh,
no.
Just amazing. because it was. I think they thought it was a wind up.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm obviously we're in WhatsApp groups together, and certainly in one of the WhatsApp groups, I think Natalie, Bromley came into that group and sort of put up oh my God, what have I just seen? It was just amazing. You followed up with, oh, la da da, and it just went on. And I thought, oh, blast, I've missed one here. I have missed one.
But it was over so quick. I mean, what you played there, that wasn't any. That
was heads up, right?
That wasn't some sort of sped up. They've just picked the best bits of the tournament. It literally went from three-handed to a winner as quick as that.
Well, listen, they were
busy chatting about it. Yeah,
we've had 2 proposals in for the spending of $1.5 million. Kai Hutchinson goes with all the beers. Right, fair enough. I reckon the guys could probably hit $500,000 in beers pretty damn quickly. They're up in the northwest. Asa says a box at City. Easy answer. Sorry, Asa. Not even $1.5 million would get you a box at City at the moment. You'd have to stand outside, my friend. Leave it unoccupied. Stefan says a new PC screen and some beers and a house later.
What I did love in the chat, because obviously everyone was in that Twitch stream and they're chatting away, and she made the comment, Vanessa made the comment that obviously it's tax free because I'm in Canada, I'm Canadian, so it's tax free. And then somebody came back starting to give her tax advice on like, well, you want to be really careful there because you've signed a deal with ACR now. So she just recently signed up with American Card Room. So technically that makes you a pro. So you want to make sure that actually you're now not going to get covered. Like, it's brilliant. Like she's just and somebody's trying to give her tax advice. Like it's just like, mate, just back off. Just don't worry about it. It's fine.
Well, to be honest, it's just the fact
she can afford to get somebody not on a Twitch stream to give her tax advice.
I think probably, but it's just the fact that you just worry that if you're on that Twitch stream and saying things, that you're creating a record of this, and that's what I'd worry about more than anything else, really.
I think sometimes some of the stuff we say on this show, it's just and it's all recorded there. So
Kai Hutchinson said clown, right? He's going back to Asa. He said you're a clown. Mr. Wigglesworth comes out of hiding and he says, house is the obvious answer. But for a bit of fun, a stretch Hummer. Now, where could you take a stretch Hummer in the UK and not look like a plonker? Come on. Come on, Peter. Tell me where you'd have to be in Vegas or Monaco or something, I think.
Blackpool. You could get away in Blackpool.
Well, could you? I mean, do they have a hotel car park big enough to park that baby in?
Up and down the promenade, you'd be fine, honestly. Just get to the one end, spin it round.
I'll tell you, if you could get one made of planks of wood, then I think you're fitting in Blackpool. Let's do it. Let's go.
So $1.5 million is what, about 1.2 sterling, isn't it?
And change.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah.
What would you buy, Lee? What would you buy?
You'd clear your mortgage. I think it's the first thing you do. So and then I don't know.
I've got an idea.
I think I'd be probably quite boring. I think I would probably then look at doing something I've always wanted to do business wise and invest into doing that. So you're then doing something you actually enjoy doing. Scarily 1.5 million is probably not enough to retire on. So you'd have to do something with it.
I get through that. I get through that a year. I feel just on Deliveroos and shit like that.
That kind of middle thing. It's not going to. Yeah, the prices you get charged for delivery. Yeah,
I'm telling you, mate. Yeah. You have no idea. But I was thinking.
Would you buy them?
I was thinking if I got that sort of money, and that would be, wow. Because I sometimes see people on shows and like they win $7,000 and they tend to say it's life changing, and it might be, but actually you get through $7,000 very, very quickly. Right, even if you're really working to a budget.
An episode of The Wall, drop it,
Danny lovely.
They're talking about.
I do like that.
They're talking about 15,000, and they're going, it'll be life changing. Then they've got it up to 100,000, and they're going, well, that'll be life changing. Well, how many times do you want to change your life?
Yeah. I know. Well, listen, I live 30 minutes from Brighton, and Brighton, right? Lots of the guys out there and gals would know Brighton. It's got a beautiful marina. And there's a building right on the waterfront that sells boats, and I've often walked by it. You look at the boats, and it's just some amazing stuff. So I had my eye on this boat, and I thought, crikey, this is what I
We
do.
are learning this morning that it could be weeks before that giant ship wedged sideways in the Suez Canal will be moved. Weeks. It got stuck on Tuesday, got blown into the shore by high winds and a dust storm, and now it's going.
Now, apparently, the last guy who test drived it, right, he hasn't come back yet. So it's not come back in. But
no, but once it will,
that is a ship, right?
Okay, and you might be able to get one of those because it looks like Frank of the Bailey is pretty much just put a bid in for APAT.
Has he really? Oh, quick, hurry! Let me get to that post.
Yeah. He said, would 1.5 million buy a share in APAT? It would buy not only a share, Frank. It would buy APAT, and you get the use of Des for an entire year.
Absolutely. I tell you what you would get for 1.5 million in APAT, Frank. I don't know if you've ever watched The Walking Dead, but there was a scene when Michonne first came into The Walking Dead where she had two guys with lopped off sort of jaws. She'd lopped off their jaws with a samurai sword, and she had them on like what could only be described as dog collars. For 1.5 million, you get all of APAT and you get Lee and I on dog collars, right? So just get your bid in, my friend. We can't wait.
I mean, that's harsh, though. I mean, Stefan's saying, I think you buy them out for sure. Well, I wouldn't, we're not cheap. I mean, it's like,
oh, Tris, I'm so disappointed. Triplin says would probably invest it. Well, in what? That's what we want to know.
One of my most favorite tweets of the week, because there's been a lot of boat tweets this week, a lot of them. But one of them was, wouldn't you want to be, once it all gets fixed, okay, wouldn't you want to be the captain of the first boat that goes back through the Suez Canal, where you've got the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever?
Go on.
Which is block it again.
That's not funny. Even I'm sitting here. I can't. That's not funny.
Oh, you've just got that. That opportunity where you go. This is. You'll never have that opportunity in a lifetime again to just go. Oh no, you wouldn't believe what's happened.
Yeah. When I was a younger lad, I worked in retail in buying for a couple of the big sort of high street stores. And we would regularly buy all of our promotions. You know, you'd buy 2 or 3 times a year, all of your promotions for the ends. And you'd have, just tons of 40-foot containers coming in with the products that you've bought. And it was, quite normal. Ship's been delayed. It's we're going to be a week late and stuff like that. And you couldn't bring in your product too early, right? Because you didn't have the space. So it was always very tightly managed when your product would arrive. And, of course, if it wasn't there for the 4 or the 5 week period you had it on promotion, you were screwed because all of the point of sale for the window, everything was done towards those dates. So I can imagine, given the amount of stuff that was held in the Suez Canal, that there are a lot of businesses all around the world suffering greatly because of that.
What they reckon, 300 ships lined up at the moment.
Oh, it's just insane.
Trying to get through. Plus, to work that out. Frank's saying, would you throw in your flight simulator, Des?
Oh, Frank, no, I'm sorry. I couldn't throw in
He's negotiating now. Can you believe it?
If I had a ship simulator, Frank, I would include that. But I'm not that bad.
I thought we had a deal, and he's now trying to negotiate for a little bit more.
It's very disappointing at this stage, Lee. I mean, I feel it's very late in the day for this sort of added negotiation. It doesn't scream good faith, does it?
They wouldn't stand for it on Dragon's Den, would they?
But they certainly wouldn't, particularly when that flight simulator is probably the one thing standing between me and a psychiatrist's couch at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to say it's got you through some dark times. It
is. I kid you not. But a few days ago, I thought to myself, and I know you're going to say, Stez having a bit of a joke here. I thought to myself, should fly up the Suez Canal. Just see what that shit's really like. Yeah, no, I know there's not going to be a ship stuck in it on Flight Simulator. I know that. But, it's such an amazing story.
It does make you wonder, though, doesn't it? They were trying to explain, well, how could it even have happened? Because there's only one way you can go through the Suez Canal. It's just go in that direction and try not to, to touch either
Apparently,
side.
a bit of wind came along. Yeah. Now, I'm never going to look at Jurgen Klopp and question him when he talks about the wind over Anfield, right? The wind affected the ball. I'm never going to question that again, because it's just pushed a hell of a big ship. I mean, a hell of a big ship across this canal. It's just insane.
Yeah, it is pretty mad, to say the least. But
and the thing is, those things are so big that I guess the minute that guy, the captain, El Capitano, right, the minute he sort of got out of alignment, there was probably 40 minutes before he hit the bank on the other side that he knew it was going to happen, but he couldn't do anything about it. What do you do? I mean, you can't do a bit of opposite lock, pull the handbrake.
No. You are absolutely
You're committed.
Yeah, it's quite mad. But that is the only route, and how reliant everybody becomes on it with these things. We'll see whether there is a knock-on effect. That'll be the interesting thing, as to whether it's actually anything noticeable happens from it, because they reckon it could be another week or so, don't they, before they could have it.
It's amazing how unpredictable it is. I mean, they've had a bunch of small boats, right? Not the types of boats that I'd be interested in buying. Small boats, tugs, and I think they've been pushing it or something, and it's moved like 100 feet by all accounts. So they've not had to pull any of the cargo off yet, which I think is the stage that
I think that's the
don't
next,
want to get to that.
Yeah,
it's probably next, but it's bad news that, right?
If they can't dredge it and excavate in the side to free it up, then that is the next best option. Will be to start removing cargo.
Yeah. Do you think if they tried butter along the coastline? Just butter that shit up. That's going to work. I'm telling you.
Seriously,
9 times out of 10, that's going to work.
It has been a pleasant change on Twitter, just that it's pretty much been Suez Canal boat memes for the week.
It's been fantastic.
Or the usual poker community bitching at each other.
Sometimes it's just nice to see somebody with bigger problems than you have. And the bigger those problems are, the better. It just gives you a little bit of relief for a week or so. Happy days. Happy days. So we're on. Oh no, I thought we were going on to a break, but we're not going on to a break. We're just
we're
going
22,
hand for hand.
It's about 15 minutes. Yeah. So the March closer is down to 22 players, and we're paying top 20 in this tonight. It's a progressive knockout tournament. So just having a look to see who we've still got. Nick Rawlings is still in that. Minji, who I mentioned from last night, is still going in that as well. Danny Weaver is still in that. So they're getting close, playing hand for hand now as we get into the money on that one. The main event is paying 55, and we're down to 57, so that will be hand for hand as well at the moment. Drew is still 23rd of those 57. In that, let's see who else we've got in that. Bobby James is playing in that tonight. Paul Taylor is still going in that as well. Dave Amos, Stephen Fisher, Craig McCorkill, Andreas Achillia, who's regularly been playing APAT games during lockdown. Lee Mulligan still going in that as well. So, and Tom Bacon I still see with the stack in that. So plenty of names still in that. And the Omaha is down to 18 players, and that's paying top 14. So Kai is currently chip leader.
Wow, nice,
Omaha.
nice. So we've missed. Lee, we've missed some of these guarantees. What do we think is our thinking here? Awareness being the first time we've done this as a monthly. Too many tourneys, maybe.
Yeah, I think there's. I think it's probably a number of things. Obviously, we've just hitting where lockdown is starting to ease in places, and people have maybe got some other things going on as well. But I think it's just probably just a little bit of awareness. We did fire emails out to people, and obviously communicated via Facebook group and Twitter as well. So everyone should know about it. And the tournaments are obviously now well in the lobby with the APAT tab.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone could say we haven't put enough satellites on for these kind of things, because there's been a whole lot. I mean, you could have got into the main event from 55 cents all week to play this tonight. So yeah, but we did miss it by about 80 odd runners, which is unusual. We funnily enough, we were chatting before the show, Des, weren't we? And we were saying, well, normally people would just pile into this last minute if there's a little bit of value, but that didn't seem to be the case on
well,
this.
I see
it's
the
first
Irish
one. So
yeah, I see the Irish Open is ongoing at the moment.
Yeah.
That's running till into April. I think the end of the first week of April.
Yeah, I think there's 2 weeks. I think the let's just confirm when the last one of that is the 8th. The closer is on the 8th of April.
Fantastic. Look forward to seeing how the main develops in that. I think that's going to be a huge tournament.
Well, it's a million guaranteed on it, and the day 1A has done well. It's still late reg is still open on it now for about another 20 30 minutes. So it's a million guaranteed. So day 1A, what do you think, runners?
Oh, sorry,
it's €1,000 buy-in, so it needs 1,000 runners in total. So how many do you think day 1A's got?
200.
780.
Holy shit, that's amazing.
So they're at €780,000 already of the million guarantee, and they've got a day 1B to come. I think is next weekend.
Wow,
I think actually
that's a great success.
Yeah, so they're going to absolutely. Oh, actually, goodness me, there's a day 1C as well.
So they're going to smash that number.
Yeah, the million just is but there's a lot of players playing that. You've got like €55 satellites into that and that kind of thing. So I can understand that. If there's a million euro guarantee up top, I can.
Have you tried it, Lee? Have you tried it? I mean, it's going to be a big old prize pool there. You any plans for the week?
If I've got some time, then I will do. But I've really had very little time to play poker, so
yeah.
But if I can make some time, then I'll give it a go.
Well, let us know in the chat box, guys. Have any of you tried the Irish Open? I mean, that sounds like
there's lots of
achievable
side events. Yeah, there's side events in that as well. There's some lots of really good side events. The Hendon Mob Championship runs in that as well, which is a €265 buy-in. So they've got mini versions of a lot of them as well. So well worth a look at. It's on the Irish Open tab, just a few along from the APAT one in the lobby.
Yeah,
you'll be able to find it easy enough. But they're still taking late reg tonight for another half an hour. I mean, that could easily get over 800,000 comfortably. Tonight.
So just looking at the comments, Triplin said med the 109 sat today, but no joy. So same, going for it again next week.
There was a big one at 3:30 today, which had like 100 seats guaranteed. So it was €109 satellite, which means you could have got into that for like €11 or something like that, and got into it with 100 seats guaranteed. I'm going to assume it did the guarantee plus. Let's have a look. I'll find it now. There we go. 100 seat guarantee. It made 100 or nearly 117 seats.
Wow.
The guarantee. So there was a prize pool of €128,500 just in that one satellite.
Yeah. Wow, it's incredible. Stefan just coming back on our series. Maybe too high on the buy-ins. Most buy-ins were 11 and Sunday 33. Now it's all weekend 33 and Sunday 55. Big buy-ins if you play all the events, but there are a lot of sats. So absolutely, there are a lot of sats there. But I guess if you don't have the time to play in enough of the sats, then maybe 55 is too big of a buy-in for the main events. Surrounded by 33s as well. But
it's tricky. I mean, we only up. So the 9 o'clock one each night is an $11 on the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then it's a 22 on the Sunday. But yeah, what would normally be an $11 tournament jumps to a 33 just for this weekend. And then the two main events where we've got those lovely medals up for grabs. Jumps to from a 33 to a 55. So there is a little bit of an increase in it. But we worked with Party to make sure that there would be plenty of satellites on, so hopefully players wouldn't feel that they were priced out of playing. And it's the same as anything. We don't want people to be playing outside of their bankroll. It's play what you want to play and what you've got time for playing for. And we're not expecting people to be playing Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We've seen a switch with the leaderboard ladders in the amounts that people are playing, which is quite interesting. So the first week, I think we spoke about this the first week, Des, and I think I pitched it and I said 5. I thought 5 of the 20 would go on to the next step.
Oh yeah, how do we get on?
Yeah, do you remember we spoke about
that?
I
do, yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I picked the over.
It was actually 3.
Wow.
The only 3 players. So Gary Young, Rob Swindells, and Pete Wigglesworth are the only 3 that made it through from the first week. And then if you take a look at this week now,
any of them?
Pete's the only one of those is in the top 20 at the moment. So he's he's currently playing on the step 3. So he's playing for $33 tickets this week. He's currently 3rd. So he has the potential to be going for $55 tickets next week. That's right.
Superb.
But a couple of other players that have got to step 2 from week 2.
Yeah.
So because we're a couple of weeks on now. So Tony Ross, Brian Frew, they're both in the top 20 now. So they're going for their 3rd. So what you're going to have, you'll have players moving up and down the process. Some got to step 2 and just didn't play the following week for whatever reason. Didn't have the time to play, but that's up to them. But obviously, if you can get into those top places, then you've got the chance of picking up 2s or 3 lots of tickets. Well, I mean, Pete's currently 3rd at the moment. He's cashed in 4 events this week so far.
Nice going. Prolific. We know he's prolific.
Well, that's one way to describe him, yeah.
Yeah. So Triplin is saying, didn't miss by much. It's just Irish and WPT on at the same time. Some guys can't play everything. I think that's a fair comment. Stefan is saying, the PLO and Hold'em were 100k before, and now it's PKO at 50 for 11 buy-in. Why change? 100k was perfect to play. So he's talking about the Friday and Saturday event. It's gone to 50k from 100. But has the structure around it changed, Lee, or have we just...
Yes, it has. It's gone to the same sort of structures that we were using for the WCOAP. So
it should be a great structure then.
Yeah, that's the reason why the feedback we got from those structures that people just
Kai's just come in on the back there. I think the structure is great. Stefan really enjoyed the Hold'em and PLO tonight. So it's not necessarily about starting chips, about the structure as a whole.
Yeah, no, very much so. Yeah, it's I mean, and the main event tonight is on a I want to say 12-minute clock. Yeah, it's on a 12-minute clock. So as is the PLO. So plenty of play in that. And again, sensible situation. We're bringing back 14 players in the PLO. Actually, which, to be perfectly honest, the PLO is going to finish. It didn't start till 8 o'clock, and I'd imagine I'm probably going to be stopping. We're down to 16 now. So I'd imagine we'll be stopping in the next 10, 20 minutes, something like that with that. So they've only played 3 hours and they're coming back tomorrow. So.
Very good. Keep your, do let us know, guys, even if you think the PLO shouldn't be a 2-day event, should have been played off in a day, just let us know what you think.
I think that's one which I think we will look at and just say, well, actually, does that need to be a 2-day event? Because it does seem, 3 hours doesn't seem a massive amount of time to be playing.
No, I mean, if you're going to get a smaller field size, it's definitely a consideration.
Yeah. So, but obviously it's 100 runners opposed to the main event, which will be 400 odds. So, yeah, it's certainly one to look at. That's for sure. That is for sure. So, yes, one of the other things that was on Twitter this week, Des, was this. Did you see the discussion around range charts and training sites having a go at each other and
hell no,
putting the boot in? Oh, it's all got a bit a bit toxic for one reason or other. I don't have a massive opinion on trading companies and what they do, and these master classes you can sign up for and all this kind of thing. But the one thing that did interest me was you read some of the discussions, and so there was a few tweets up with people posting different range charts. So I presume I don't use them, so but I'm assuming you know what I'm talking about. These charts. So basically, depending on what hand you've got, it suggests what you should do in this scenario.
Optimal play.
But some of the discussion around, well, why that's a good range chart and that's a bad one based on this and that and whatever, went whoosh over my head. I thought, I've been playing poker for the best part of 20 years now. I don't actually understand what they're talking about.
It's very subjective, isn't it? I mean, even a range chart itself is very subjective. It's quite subjective. I mean, you can say, you're going to call anything with aces, but
I genuinely was like, what? Like, I can't even understand the terminology they're using to question each other's range charts.
Oh dear.
let alone how to use the bloody things. And all it's doing is it's training humans up to basically be bot-like.
Yeah.
In the decision that it's suggesting that it's a black and white. There is either a right or a wrong way to play any particular hand in any particular situation. But the variables that are required, you need to know your hand, you need to know your stack size, you need to know the type of opponent you're playing against and the position you are in the tournament. And all of that is variables. How on earth anybody's got time to know, well, okay, I need to do this?
But you can also look at a range chart and say to yourself, right, I'm a 56% favorite here. I should go for it. Or, I'm a 66% favorite. I should go for it. But that removes that whole variable line of thinking about picking spots. And, there might be a better time to be a 66% favorite than in that particular hand, because you don't want to double up that guy. It's such a rich texture of, variables that you need to, feed into making a decision. It's not like blackjack. Do you remember those blackjack system cards? Here is the optimal way to play blackjack against the house.
That is an absolute, an optimal.
That's what it is. But you can do that with blackjack.
The problem is, though, Des, is so my question is this: the way these guys are talking is that it's suggesting that poker is solvable.
Yeah.
Now, if it gets to the point where there are that many people, one of the guys, I watched the start of his training video, and he was suggesting that if you do this training video, this package, it'll take 2 years. Seriously, it'll take 2 years for you to get there, but then you will consistently make good money. But it's going to take you 2 years to train yourself into what you need to do, in particular situations, and learn and study the game and run simulations and all.
Does it have like a 12-day module about sending your seagull across the table?
Well, and I'm kind of like, well, where's the fun in that? And if there are guys and girls out there that are going to those levels to solve the game so that they can be profitable, for us mere mortals that don't do that, well, why would you want to play against people that it's like playing a game of Monopoly for money, for real money, against somebody that has a strategy and knows the optimal way to win the game. So my question then that I was trying to work out, and maybe the guys in the chat will be able to help me out here, is if you take somebody just like me, just an average poker player, what sort of advantage does somebody that's studied these charts and simulations, is doing that level of studying and strategy on the game and solving the game, what advantage do they have compared to just your average recreational poker player? I'm curious to know what people think, as to what level of advantage there is over it. They're not a bot, but I'd be also curious to know what would you, so if you had an artificial intelligence bot that was playing optimal poker, what level of advantage would they have over your standard recreational poker player? So curious to know what the guys think.
I would imagine I would imagine there's an advantage to that style of play, but I would imagine the edge's got to be quite small, I'd have thought. But what you lose in terms of fun and entertainment and just the joy of playing, I mean, can you imagine the pain of getting, drawn out by somebody's terrible play? You just get drawn out, which you do in poker all of the time. You get drawn out against all of the time. I mean, that must be just horrendous if you go to the nth degree of preparation.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. It's like playing. So you go into the casino and you play roulette, right? You're playing for fun. You know very well that the house has an edge. Can't remember what the edge is. I used to know.
It's tiny. It's tiny.
What the edge, whatever the edge is that the house has in roulette, but you know that they do, and you're playing for fun. I think the perception with poker is that other than your reg fee or your rake, you're paying. Actually, you're then playing other players, aren't you, rather than against the house. Yeah. So and it's quite unique in that aspect. When you're playing for money, there's not many situations where you'd argue that. I mean, it's like even something like sports betting you're still playing against the house.
Yeah.
Sports betting, and they've got their their edge. I struggle to think of many other games whereby you as a player effectively create the prize pool, and you're playing against other people. I mean, it just doesn't.
Well, anything pools orientated, right? It's a pools orientated game, poker. But the house simply doesn't care who wins. The house takes its 10% or whatever, and happy days. It facilitates the game. It doesn't care. This has been the one big issue with players for many, many years, sort of saying, "Oh, the game is rigged." Well, it's not, because why would they rig it? They don't care who wins. They're going to get their same cut nonetheless.
No, I mean, there's an argument that it's in a site's interest to make hands more action, speed up the games, because they can churn. They'll churn the number of tournaments that somebody will play, arguably. But as far as who wins particular hands, from a player point of view, it's never going to be
the other things you impact just by impacting the structure. Just speed up the structure and things will happen more quickly. And you know what?
But I'm probably the same as everybody else. I'm sure that everybody's got a site that they play on where they kind of go, crikey, that the hands are just crazy on that site, more so than it is on another one. And whether that's true or not, I don't know, because I don't keep track of it all to be able to say whether it is. It's perception, isn't it? Of what
I'm pretty sure if it was the case, there'd be an enormous hoo-ha on 2+2. Do you know? They just would. If there were certain sites that were just full of action hands, somebody would have done the statistical analysis.
But of course, you used to have, not all the sites now allow you to get access to card history, hand history and stuff like that. So you might not be able to.
It's harder. But down through the years, they'd have been able to do it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and as you say, it's not in their interests. Why would they want to? They've got no reason to do that. And the sites are still booming, aren't they? I mean, you sent me a link this week to
888, right? Doing well.
Incredible numbers.
And party, the party's numbers are superb. So the industry seems to be doing well. Definitely, initially propelled by COVID, and probably now so, a lot of those players have just stayed in the game, maybe playing a little bit smaller, but they've stayed in the game as they continue to sort of, be at home more often and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. The bubble has burst in the main event, and Joseph Parsons is the unfortunate player that is finishing in 56th and just out of the money. So everybody's now guaranteed $127.
Well done, guys. Nice.
38 cents. And this will now play down, guys, to the final 16. So basically, you'll be about $210 into the money. And then those final two tables will come back tomorrow at 7 o'clock.
Listen, Lee, Mike Doherty is out there saying, "Let's go, Drew SA." Do you remember that from the WCOAP? We're going, hold on, he's Canadian. What are they trying to wind him up or whatever? But let's go, Drew SA. So did Drew make it? I assume he did.
Yes, he did. I did see his name in there now, just trying to see where he is now. He's currently 25th. He's sat on 226,000, so about 22, 23 bigs. So.
Nice. Hey, Mike Christensen. has joined us from Canada, right, which is not part of the USA. And he says, I don't think they do. The only time they have an advantage is if all of the variables remain as common for their charts to be effective. This is the thing. There's so many variables, right? Meaning everyone has to play very much the same way. If you change the variables, then the number of these charts are based on effectively change and become nullified in a sense. That being said, of course, your common best hands to go with always still stand. I'm speaking of some of these unusual and non-standard calling, raising, betting hands, in my opinion. So I'd have to agree with all of that. I think the beautiful thing about poker is there are so many levers. There are so many reasons that you might make a certain play, and it isn't always tied into your hand. And unfortunately, solvers might help you on 60% or 70% of your decision-making process, but it can't get you all the way. And if you take away that sort of stuff, then you are taking the fun out of the game. Greg Mawson is there. If you can feed all of the data into a HUD and you can interpret that into the HUD displays, I think that's impossible to beat. I've never used a HUD. One reason I packed up for years, the game was impossible to beat. Party bands HUD, so I play now. Yeah. I don't think a HUD is an unbeatable tool at all. I think what it is a great way, in my humble opinion, to assess your game, to assess your leagues, to assess, you know, some of the players that you play against, identify targets. Certainly it does all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, you know, king, queen, offsuit, ace, 10, you know, I'm not sure the HUD is absolutely the tool that you need to win at poker. And lots of good players, Lee, lots of good players just won't use them.
No, it's interesting to say that a lot of these training sites are, that's one of the things that their go-to tools that they do, and they sell for reasonable amounts of money. It was just the spats of them all criticizing each other's range charts, and at one point they were moaning about the colors of them, and it was just absolutely priceless. Like, really, we got nothing better to do.
Maybe there's a Netflix. Maybe there's a Netflix series in that along the lines of Silicon Valley.
You had some of the regulars on there were kind of going, look, can we just let's not all just put the boot into each other. Why don't we just all we're all doing trainings, but of course the trouble is big money for some of the training sites. They make really, really big money. I mean Patrick Leonard has recently released a masterclass
$600
video thing, and it's $600.
But that's like
that's
nothing.
On discount,
if that, you see, I mean,
if it helps you,
$600 is nothing if it helps you. See, I'd be much more attuned with good old fashioned graft and good old fashioned getting your hands dirty and learning the game from people who know it and have a proven ability. Who on top of that can also teach, right? Be much more in tune with spending on that sort of stuff as opposed to, buying something robotic that is going to tie me into just one method of playing. I mean, frankly, I want to get a job if that's how I play poker. But
I did realize that the range chart thing, I mean, a lot of players have got those, they're just in their heads. They know that, if it's folded round to them in the hijack, and that their range widens in what they can open with, and this kind of thing, and in your head, and sometimes it's I'm feeling I feel 10 jack suited is fine here, and other times you'll go, I don't think 10 jack suited is good here because I know who's coming to the left of me, and I don't quite how can anybody quick be that quick to it's not the real-time solver stuff that obviously, if that is in play, I mean that's proper scary. If there's the sort of the computer power to be able to pull the info off the screen and give the player real time straight away, this is what you need, this is the optimal play in this particular position, that's quite scary, because then I don't see how you can do it. But whilst it's still a human being trying to remember which chart they're doing what from, and they only get that from playing and repetitive playing the game.
Look, when poker first hit our TV screens back in the late 90s and early 2000s, that was the scientific approach from the pundits, where somebody would say, well, I think his range is da 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 da. Back then, that was the highest point of science in the game. So people have always thought about ranges. But crikey, do you want to get a computer to do it? It's going to take the fun out.
Oh yeah, it becomes the minute that happens, it isn't an enjoyable experience. But I remember when we talked about this on I can't remember which episode of the Orbit it was now. But
it's the one with Rob Young,
suggestion was
Negreanu.
Yeah, the discussion was, well, do you mix up the games? And by mixing up the games, you make them harder to solve them, because it takes a while to solve these things.
That's right.
I think this particular training site where I watched their initial video, he was being completely genuine when he said it's a 2-year process. It's not anything which happens. He said, if you want to sign up to make a fast buck, please go away. We don't want you signed up. But he was claiming that they've got 35,000 players on their Discord groups and stuff like that, and all this kind of thing.
That must be easy to manage.
But I guess it's it's whatever works for you, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
It's just fascinating to see them all having a bash at each other, and interesting that actually would appear that not many people at the level that I play at, which is the same as what you guys are all playing. That you're all playing tonight. Not got a huge amount of time for it. Remember when we first started APAT and players would be sat down at a live casino with the hand rankings on a piece of paper next to their stack? That's the level we should be playing at, isn't it?
Happy days. Yeah. Mike Christensen is saying, yes, but you adjust to how the hand is played back at you. The program doesn't really account for that. Say you have a house, but your opponent has an overhouse on you, the program will have you losing all of your chips. It's a good point.
And you do see that at times, those amazing folds, and you think, how have they done that? And they've just worked something through, or seen something, or remember a time where they played against that person and they did the same thing, and they've decided, I'm going to...
I don't care what type of solver you're using, real-time, historic, call it what you will, I can outdraw you in any game. Yeah. Just remember. I'll give you a Duffy special.
So we are flying through the players in the main event now. We're only 5 minutes or so ago, and I was telling you that the bubbles burst at 55 players. Well, we're down to 40 already in that. They are playing hand for hand in the PLO. That's got 16 players left. We're playing to 14 tanight, which is in the money.
Wow. We're going to be done here soon.
John Murray is one of the short stacks in that. John's clinging on at the moment, but he's still got 9 bigs. So in PLO, that's plenty. The March closer started at 9 o'clock, and that is now down to 11 players. So they're not far off the final table on that. Not seeing many names I recognise there. Mark Shepstone is one of the few that I do recognise that's been playing. And obviously the deep stack has already concluded. We watched the final table of that earlier on. So but we've still got a few in the main event, down to 38 now. Tom Bacon's still there, Stephen Fisher's still there, Tony Ross, Andrew Sekilia's still playing in that. Dave Amos is still going as well. Paul Taylor, Bobby James is still there. So plenty of regular players.
Wow.
So Asa says another week or so till he'll be back playing again. Can't wait. So he's been busy work-wise and decided to take a break.
Asa, tell me, what did you make of the Champions League draw? Would love to hear. Liverpool in a side of the draw away from Man City, away from Bayern Munich. So City are likely to have Bayern Munich if they get through Dortmund. Gonna have to beat a couple of big teams there, I think, Lee, to make the final.
Yeah, it's it's in a way it's a good thing, because I think for English clubs, because it gives probably best chance of it being 2 English clubs in the final. At the same time, I think having City, PSG, and Bayern all in the same half of the draw does feel like the Yeah,
that's terrible, Lee. Honestly, my heart is breaking.
Yeah, but it's been like that for a little while now, where it's normally been a quarterfinal or a semi-final is the one you kind of wish had been the final. And it's been like that for a little while now. But that's
I
the way
agree.
that's the way it goes. There's not a lot you can do about it.
There's no guarantee Liverpool will beat Real Madrid, but I was never happier than when I saw the draw. It felt like
as Asa just
a lovely thing.
As Asa says, he says, I believe whoever gets through to the final from our half of the draw should be winning the tournament.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
It doesn't always work. You could just see Chelsea winning it, couldn't you?
To be honest, there aren't too many left in it who you would say, nah, no chance. You know, a number of including Chelsea.
You wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea.
Well, they're not conceding goals, are they? They're not losing. Yeah. So these are
the change of manager seems to have made all the difference there, and which is a weird one actually, because the quality of the squad that they've got there, you kind of think, well, what's he done that's that different to what Frank Lampard was doing? But something significant has changed there. They've literally just turned them around quite quickly. What did you make of the rugby on Friday? It was a bit of an anticlimax because it's kind of after the weekend.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. I got to be honest with you, I didn't watch it, but I watched the Wales France game. I thought that was an absolute humdinger to bring it down to. Just an incredible game to watch. So Sean watched it, but I didn't. I had something else that I was doing, and I suppose it seems like it was a pretty dramatic finish. Had Scotland not gone over for that late try, does that mean France would have won, or had they not secured the bonus point?
No.
So they weren't. So it didn't really matter in the end.
It didn't really. I think it was about 20 minutes to go, and France had scored 3 tries and were just ahead. And if they'd have got a 4th try with 20 minutes to go, that would have given the bonus point. And then they needed to win by 21 or something like that. Well,
really?
Well, at that point, from a points difference, that's what it would have gone down to then, a points difference. But at that point, you'd have genuinely, I'd have fancied France to have just put the foot down and gone, right, we just need to score points, lads. No worries about now what we're going to do. And they might, they could have done it, but again, lots of yellow cards and red cards.
It's been messy
on a game. It's been a weird season for it. Six Nations.
The Scots have done well, haven't they? I mean, what a great sort of, bit of a return to form. Some good wins this season, England, France now.
No, absolutely. So Mark Shepston's in the chat, just saying
nice.
Nearly went out 40th, so happy with the 11th. Yes, he's finished at 11th in the
well done,
the closer.
Mark.
So a decent run in that. Simon Lawler says, "Evening, guys. Are you doing a stream of the day 2s tomorrow night?" We certainly are.
We can have fun with that.
That is the plan. The No Limit Hold'em one starts at 7 o'clock, so we are planning on jumping on pretty much as close to 7 o'clock and seeing that through to a conclusion. We might even see if we can get a guest on to join us tomorrow night to chat through the poker.
Cool.
And that's the reason why we're not focusing too much on the 2 main events tonight. So they're both playing down to a final 2 tables. So we're just going to keep an eye on them. But the closer is now. See whether it's gone to 9. I'm not sure whether they're playing a 9-handed final table or not. I don't think they are. So one more to go on that, and then I'll be on a final table.
So when did we start the APAT show, Lee? I mean, it's got to have been a year now. So have we just gone over a year?
It feels that it probably was around this. It might have been early April.
It could have been.
I know that we did. I know that last Saturday I hit 365 days in a row of closing the fitness rings on my Apple Watch. Everything hit for 365 days in a row.
That's pretty sad, really.
I'll never.
I hope you celebrate it with a bit of cake and some donuts, and you're just putting your feet up. I hope.
It's just ridiculous, isn't it? But the thing is, I think we were trying to work out how far is it going to genuinely go. And actually, it might be just something we never stop doing now. Jen and I treat it as for an hour a day, we just phones get switched off and you go out for a walk and just whether rain or shine, that's what we do. So yeah, we may never stop doing it, actually. So I don't know, it's a bad thing.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I wish I'd done that. Instead, I just put on weight, basically.
I think there's going to be a change. I really do. I was reading a really interesting article again, somebody posted up on Twitter about where they thought kind of offices were going to be and things in general. And I think there's going to be a massive change.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Be.
I mean, I've enjoyed having the flexibility to sort of work as, as my requirements, allowed me. So there are times when, I've done more work in the evening than I have during the day, because that was just more suitable for me at that time. And I love that. I love that.
It's a suggestion that the offices actually aren't conducive to efficient working a lot of the time, and they think the head office could be dead. People work from home. They'll have more where companies are looking for maybe an annual 1 or 2 week kind of retreat where they book everybody to go to a venue and basically stay over for a week and use that as a tool for bringing the kind of the workforce together when they need to. But other than that, you're kind of left to your own devices. And I think we've broken the glass ceiling of management concern that people can't be trusted to work.
Yeah, that's nonsense.
Which has always been the problem.
At the end of the day, if you don't work, you'll be found out. If you don't, and there'll always be some, but if you don't work, you'll be found out.
But that has always been the problem with home working and remote working, is that there's always been this concern that management feel like, well, I can't trust people. But actually, because it's had to be done, there's been a realization that and all you're doing is you're finding different ways to work out performance of people.
Yeah.
As to whether, and as you say, if you're not pulling your weight, you'll get found out soon enough. Yes, you might get cover it up for a little bit, but you'll soon get found out.
Yeah.
And so what they're talking about is companies spending more investment now, not on physical premises, but on the infrastructure to allow people to remote work. So the ability that, you're onboarding somebody and therefore you've got the kits arrives at their home for them and they've got everything that they need to do, and it can be done remotely to get them up and running. I think it's going to be a fascinating
Love it.
next decade.
And the positivity
how it works.
From people not having to travel, not having the cost of travel, being able to see their family while the day is still bright. Just the positivity driven by that sort of stuff, I think,
the fact that you can
outweigh the cost.
You can be working till 6 in the evening, especially in the summer, and then you're done. You're home and you're straight home.
Yeah, boom.
And you're not having to commute for an hour or whatever, and then not getting home till 7 or 7:30, whatever it is. I just think it makes a completely difference. And of course, you get to the point then when we start talking about, well, do you do a Monday to Friday 9 to 5? Is that even a thing anymore? Really? Is there a requirement? I'm not sure whether it necessarily is. Some people might say, well, I'd rather have a 3-day weekend where I don't look at my work stuff. Other people might say, well, I'd rather do. I mean, you're the same as me, Des. Is 7 days a week, but I have built into what I do the flexibility that I can do other things as well. But I've always
felt that working on multiple things. I mean, I've serious. Regular job, but I've felt that it's massively beneficial to be multi-role, to have projects, to work on projects, because it's a quick escape from one thing to the next. And, the more passionate you are, the more you get rewarded just from I really enjoy doing this. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing for your day job.
Michael Christensen says, Zoom meetings are a great thing to come out of this, save about 10 hours a week from having to sit in traffic.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah. Now, I had a message from Mike today, right? And he was out moose hunting. Apparently, he's got a very, very large gun. He was out moose hunting, hope it went well for you, Mike. I hope the mooses over there aren't too big. That's all that I can say. Little mooses. Also, wee moose in the hoose.
Loose around the hoose. Yeah, absolutely. So we are, let's see, we're 20 past 11. So we've now still got the 9 players left in the closer at the moment. That's all tightened up, waiting to make the final table. Let me just check it hasn't jumped to a final table of 9 no, it hasn't yet. So we're still hanging out there. 34 left in the main event, and we've 15. We're one off the money in the PLO. Kai's in the chat says it's not great for teaching. Yeah, I agree though. Yeah.
It's interesting that, and I can only give my own experience here. I think we mentioned this before, where obviously the kids 7 and 9 had a lot of Zoom meetings, and they were set homework. They would do their homework, and they were very fortunate that Mum was able to sit between them and do a lot of supportive type stuff with them. But it felt like it worked for them. And I have to say, because one never got insight into the classroom in this way before, but sitting with my laptop in the sitting room while some of those calls were going on behind me, I mean, some of those teachers are absolutely superb. They're absolutely brilliant. You could just feel the,
And I guess the other thing with it is bear in mind, and maybe, I mean, Kai might be able to, add some insight into it, but I'm assuming nobody was prepared for this, really.
Yeah.
This was all a kind of, right, okay, we need to do this. Right. So how are we going to make this all virtual? Imagine if they actually had time to properly prepare a curriculum where you didn't need to be, you went into the school maybe a couple of mornings a week or something like that, and the rest of it you did virtually, or you did in kind of, sort of communal groups or something, or whatever it might be, and a structure which wouldn't require this kind of going in and being in school 5 days a week.
I think if you could figure out the social aspect of it, right? And I'll just switch this. If you could figure out the social aspect,
table, so yeah.
Lee, then I think you would be onto a winner, because there's just no way. I was having a chat with my daughter maybe a week or two ago, where I sort of said, we've seen a huge number of like innovative things happen in the last 40 years, right? From the development of TV to mobile phones to the internet, to there's so many things have happened, right? Blimey, you've got really close to the camera there. Boom. And I'm sort of saying, can you imagine what you're going to see in the next 50 years? I can't imagine that distant learning isn't going to become a thing. I don't know what the answer to the social thing is, but it's so much easier.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Kai says we are reasonably prepared, but I'm not sure teaching chemistry without the chemicals is ever going to take off.
That's very fair.
And Asa says Phil Cole's put out a post which said it's not so much about the education the kids lost, it's the learning about themselves and how they are as part of a team, and all of those social relationships they gain through being in a classroom. They get that via TikTok, don't they?
I think that's the point. That is the point. It's the whole social thing. But it might be that, in the future, you have practical lessons that you just have to be present for. And maybe included within the curriculum would be more social-based stuff, where the focus is actually on the social stuff. And then maybe part of the curriculum is taught remotely, so that kids don't have to be there 5 days a week. I don't know. But it would seem a shame not to examine some of these things, given what we've experienced in the last year.
No, I agree. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, and I certainly think more so in the kind of the normal office environment.
Yeah,
I think we'll see a definite change. Some companies will embrace it and look at where the benefits they can get out of it. Others will be clinging on to the past and wanting to get back to what they consider to be the norm, and then we'll find maybe in 10 years time that they've been left behind.
Yeah.
Because I think what you'll find is that those companies that don't look to embrace and kind of move forward, when they look to recruit, will find that they're not offering the benefits that people now want or expect.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. So you've got to be thinking about it now, definitely. That is for sure.
Yeah,
well, I think Kai's right in what he says. I think you do lose so much yeah, from a teaching is it is one of those which doesn't really doesn't necessarily work.
Yeah, it's difficult to throw your chalk that far, isn't it, into somebody's house?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Greg makes a good point. He says, "Don't forget, we've got to get them out of the house. Get the kids out of the house." Fantastic. Well, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, what do you think will the big developments of the next 50 years be, Lee? Apart from maybe Liverpool getting a couple of centre backs back.
Yeah, you might get one or two centre backs back. I actually think I think there will be a. I mean, it's not so much a technological changes, but I do actually believe that we might see people moving away from the bigger cities, whereas everybody's, seems to have spent the last 50 years feeling like you need to be in a in a major city to actually be part of anything, or really kind of sat down, at the head table, so to speak. And I think you're going to see more divergence of the workforce spread around the country a little bit more.
I think that's a good call.
Yeah, I think we're seeing communication channels, broadband and things like that are rolling out to a position now where, yes, a lot of what people can do can be done, all over the country, whereas there's less of a requirement to be in the city, which will then see an interesting change of what happens with the inner cities, and how that works. And obviously the most one of the biggest changes you'll see with the cities is going to be retail. Which it's inevitable. What's been interesting, as you've seen in the past 12 months, there are a number of retailers that have realized actually we don't need a shop. I see Thornton's are closing them all. Just decided actually we can trade this online. We don't need that. And so what we've been talking about, the death of the high street for a long time in the UK. Well, I think we're going to see that really come to
Jessops,
to the forefront.
I think, are about to go into administration. So they have 17 stores, some of them quite big and well known. They're going to go. So I mean, we've lost so many high street brands. Different times.
When you see the likes of John Lewis,
closing 2 big stores, 2 or 3 big stores.
I think 6, that's either 6 or 8 or something like that.
Oh, really? As many as that?
Wow. Yeah. They've just said they're just not. They won't be reopening them. So when you see a big, a really big player like that making those decisions, that's where it's going. But that's what we're going to be. It's going to be a case of you order something online and it can be with you same day or next day. I mean, I'm still not sure I quite believe in the whole Amazon droning in your package.
No, bring it on. It's coming. It's coming.
But do you actually think that will genuinely be a thing?
Of course. I don't see why not. Why would that not be a thing? Yeah, it's coming. I'm sure it is.
Only simply for the fact that to do that, you've got to have everything. It's just the ability to do these kind of contactless delivery routes, whereby I can understand it maybe in more in cities. I'm thinking out where I live. I'm kind of thinking, I'm just not convinced it would work.
But they might.
Maybe
so it's a very good call, right? But you go back 20 years. There's no way we could have imagined Street View. Right? There's no way we could have imagined that actually you could just tap into Google Earth and just do some of the stuff that we do with Google Earth. You can see anywhere in the world. It's just insane.
Well, funny enough, you mentioned Street View. We were looking the other day on ours for some reason, and last time they came down our street was about 8 years ago.
Yeah, I didn't say it was up to date. I definitely didn't say it was up to date. I've yet to ever find my car in one of them. I'm so disappointed. But anyway,
although in saying that, Google Maps overview was updated. Well, we can pretty much accurately pick it. We reckon it was like either January or February last year.
Which just
considering where we are is pretty good going.
Yeah, but I could see a situation.
I say they did it. They might have got you to fly over on your flight simulator. It might not really be.
Hey, well, that's another thing, though. That's, people will sit at home and deliver things. I could see a situation where, they would sell you a base unit. You put it in your back garden, and the drone flies to the base unit and drops your product. It lands in your back garden, drops the product. It's in a safe place, secure in the back garden. Away it goes. Yep. And again, it'll work for certain people and it won't work for others.
Yeah, it's the understanding of it's going to require some sort of system to make it work. But then again, who would have said 10 years ago that you'd have a remote control Hoover that, when it's running low on charge, goes and docks itself back in and charges itself up, and then off it goes again. I mean, it's just...
we've got a bit of kit running around Mars at the moment. Mars.
Well, you say Mars. I mean,
we
assume it is. Sure it is.
We're not entirely sure.
Yeah,
could be.
I mean,
I've heard Neasden in North London.
Yeah,
it looks a bit like that, a little bit like that. So yeah, I just think the next 50 years is going to be incredible. Some of the stuff that's going to happen. Yeah. To have a crystal ball, eh? To have a solver.
Well, exactly. Well, exactly. I'm really annoyed with Party Poker. I keep changing to a 4-card deck, and it keeps throwing. I click save settings and then come out, and it always switches it back to that old school deck. I don't know why? What's going on? Must be the Mac software.
Mike is saying here, he tells the story of some lady who, absolutely caught the working from home vibe, bought a beautiful cottage on the water in northern Ontario, moved in, found that the bloody internet didn't work.
Wow.
Check the internet. Don't buy
that's
sight unseen.
I mean,
check
when
the internet, number one.
When you're moving, I mean, is that not, surely that's now got to be, is that ahead of even schools now for reasons to move into a house?
Because I know a street pretty close by, and forget it. Your phone doesn't work on it. You get no signal whatsoever on your phone.
Yeah.
No signal. So you need top internet.
So we are done in the PLO for the night, which is a little bit longer than I thought it was going to in the end. So it's 11:30. So they played for about 3.5 hours, which, funnily enough, Kai did mention earlier on, 3-4 hours on a Sunday night. He said, perfect.
It's all right, isn't it?
Absolutely perfect. So we've got 14 players coming back. The guys are all in the money now. John Murray just snuck in there.
He's got a bowl. He's got a bowl, hasn't he? He's got a bowl.
Literally, has. Unfortunately, the bubble boy for tonight was Stuart Pillinger. So unlucky to use Stu. John Murray has just made it in there with 23,000 chips.
Well done, John.
So Tom McCartney's in there. Gary Phillips is in there. Shug has made it through. Stephen Ralph has made it through. Sebastian Posh has made it through. Tim Brown is there as well. Barry Stiles is in third with 400,000. So to give you an idea, compared to John's 20-odd thousand. Roland Egrisitz from Austria is second in chips with 690,000. But our chip leader tomorrow night is one Kai Hutchinson.
No way.
977,000.
Bloody teachers.
Kai leads the way. If he's allowed out of school early tomorrow to get himself, because I'm assuming he limbers up for this kind of thing. And
it'll be it'll be all the Rocky music, Eye of the Tiger and all of that stuff. Brilliant.
Absolutely. So those 14 players are all now guaranteed $116, but this is not bad. $1,373 up top for that tomorrow night.
Sweet.
And an APAT gold medal. Kai is chip leader. We'll be streaming the action from that tomorrow night.
Fantastic.
So looking forward to that one.
And we're down to 3, Lee, in the closer.
Yeah. Well, the closer was always going to rush. It is a turbo PKO, so it was always going to fly a little bit. We've got Leandro from Brazil, Jack from the UK, and Ryan from Canada are the 3 remaining players. Blinds are 30,000, 60,000 at the moment. So even Ryan, the short stack's still got about 15 bigs, but it's going to get over fairly quick. And then all we'll have left for the night then, Des, will be the main event, which is down to 27 players now, and that's playing down to 16 tonight. So,
sweet. Great.
We'll keep an eye on that, and that'll be our Sunday night done. And once that one's finished, because they're in the money in that main event, I'm not expecting it to kind of slow down.
We'll see
the pace at all. I wouldn't.
We'll see. I've got to switch. here anyway. We can.
Oh, Kai says it's Easter holidays. Oh, well, this has all worked out well, hasn't it? Hey.
Tomorrow.
What's
Easter holidays.
They get holidays as well.
That's like next weekend. How could it be Easter holidays already?
They get 2 weeks off, don't they?
Bloody hell.
These teachers, honestly.
Oh, that's a dream.
I'm writing the Easter special quiz for next Friday. It's Good Friday, but we've said we'll do a quiz, so I've got to get something sorted for next week. It will be excellent. Yeah.
I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go.
No, don't. They all did last week, so don't worry.
Well, I bet they did.
Every Easter pun.
Listen.
Got
all I can hope is that you all have a cracking time.
Hey, excellent stuff. Yes, good. So yes, so Kai will be back for tomorrow night. We're going to stream from 7 for the main event, but we'll also follow the PLO as well.
Yeah.
And actually, we'll probably follow whichever one has got some players from the community in that are playing. We can rail. The main event's looking a little bit shy.
Cue the lazy teacher.
Michael says, haven't they been off for the last year?
That's right. They've been off, haven't they? They've been off.
Tell you what, Des, it's our bloody taxes that pay for them. Yeah,
absolutely. They've been off, doing nothing. In their pajamas. Nah, we're only messing with you. But that's a great start to Easter. Right? If you've got 2 weeks off, and I'm sure it's not 2 weeks of downtime for teachers, but that's nice. Little final 2 tables to look forward to on day one. Bit of a payday up top. Nice.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, and also just on the leaderboard ladders, this is a bit of a learning curve for us because obviously we incorporate the championship weekend tournaments into the leaderboard ladders for the week. But I am keeping a close eye on it because I'm aware that it does kind of sway the scoring a little bit. And what I might do is I might introduce a freeze week, whereby if you're on a step 2 or a step 3, you can't drop down when we're on a month end weekend.
He's changing the rules. He's changing the rules midway through the week. Really?
It's a positive for the players.
It is a positive for the players. It is.
Because I'm very wary that we are going to have, probably the main event. Well, let me see now. The main event winner is going to pick up. Oh, actually, it might not be too bad. They're going to pick up 180 points, so that's probably going to put them. That'd put them top of the leaderboard. So I think what we might do is we might put a freeze. We might put a freeze on it. So anybody that had already got to a step 2 or a step 3 or whatever, that they can't actually drop.
Yeah.
They can't drop down. So they can have another shot. They can have another shot at it next week. Because it is a bit of an anomaly week. I mean, we did look at saying, well, do we just keep the existing tournaments running and then add these on as well? And it just felt that was
an extra stretch.
That's too many tournaments on the weekend, and it's not really fair on players. So that's why we've tried to keep them. I mean, the idea is that actually it's exactly the same tournaments that you would normally play every week. They just got a slightly bigger buy-in on a championship weekend. That's the idea behind it.
So watched a bit of Netflix last night, Lee.
What are you watching?
Yeah, well, I watched a Norwegian film with subtitles called The Tunnel. It's really
Norwegian
interesting. Film, yeah.
Because there's a series called The Tunnel, isn't there?
Yeah. Not that. No, this is a
Nothing
one-off
to do
film.
with that at all. Okay.
Not related to that. Great little drama. Really good. Recommend it.
I saw you post up the other day. Well, actually, I'd say post up in our WhatsApp group that you'd watched Molly's Game, because Molly's Game was on Netflix.
Did.
So I'm assuming that's where you watched that. What did you make of it?
I enjoyed it because I'd obviously heard the story and everything else. I enjoyed it, but it was not like a deep film or anything. It's just
no. It's not. It's a watchable yarn, isn't it? But it's nothing more than that.
It's it makes it doubly interesting when you can sort of say, oh, there's Player X there. I think I know who Player X actually was in real life. And I thought there were some interesting characters in it. It was well acted, and
talking about Molly's Game again. I go back to Twitter. Seems to be a week of Twitter stuff, but it brought back up Dara Kearney posted up a interesting blog that he did a number of years ago, being quite critical of Molly. I don't know, maybe he did it when the film first came out. It might have been, yes, because I think she was doing press for it around then as well. So but basically suggesting that how could you possibly have this person up as a role model in poker? That isn't really what they're there for. And yes, you could have them as a female role model for what they've done afterwards, but actually for what she did in poker at the time, it was, it was all illegal, and it was, and she actually went bust, and it wasn't really something that you'd step as a role model. It was a really interesting article that he wrote a number of years ago. Well worth a read if you dig it out on his Twitter.
It's interesting. So I wasn't aware of that. Now there's a couple of things that I would say. One, who claims she was a role model. I didn't certainly see her in that way in any way, shape, or form. And number two, if the movie is to be believed, her game went from being grey to being clearly illegal at quite a mature point. So it was quite a lot later that it became an illegal game, when she was giving tons of credit to the players and felt that she needed to rake the game. Now again, these points, right? Who knows what actually happened? But I think what came out to me was that she came from a very driven family. She was a very successful athlete, had a lot of promise in skiing. Her family were like Olympians and stuff like that. So, and she was extremely bright. So, it's an interesting character, just probably ended up in the wrong place at the wrong time. And had a difficult couple of years over it.
But I thought they did a very good job of the.
It felt credible. It felt a credible watch.
Yeah, watched it, and I might actually rewatch it again. Now it's on Netflix again.
But Robbie Straczynski, who you guys will know we had on the APAT show maybe just under a year ago, and who does the Orbit with Lee and I, interviewed Molly Bloom at around the time the movie came out, and it's on his cardplayerlifestyle.com blog. That was a really good interview. I thought, again, she came across as being very credible, very smart, warm. But there's a lady who went through a very difficult time, very difficult time.
I completely agree on that. So let's have a look and see where we were talking earlier on about the Irish Open.
All in and a call here.
I've got it now. So that closed day 1A. Des finished with 822 runners. So
it's done.
822,000 euros in the prize pool already. Million is the guarantee, and they've got a day 1B and a day 1C to go yet.
Awesome.
I mean,
that could
that could get to 2 mil. They could double the guarantee on that.
Irish Open, it is a legendary title.
It is, isn't it? There's something about it which people could, and it's not a crazy buy-in. It's 1,000 euros, but it's not not an unrealistic target for recreational players to have.
Was it? I'm sure it was you I had the discussion with about an APATer who won the Irish Open, having previously final tabled an APAT event. Do you recall us having that discussion?
Yes, we did. Yes, we had the
you were going, who was that?
But
James Mitchell.
James Mitchell. Yeah.
And Cara Scott, who of course we had as a guest on the Orbit Extra a week or two ago, finished runner-up in the Irish Open going back 10 or so years ago, which again for over 300,000 euros.
Oh, fingers crossed. I would hope that this the next year's one will be back on live, and everything will be nice. Good to go. I would hope.
I have to say, Lee, I'm super excited by the possibilities of like what we're doing here with the APAT show, and how we might be able to work some of this into live poker when live poker comes back, I think there are tons of really cool things we're going to be able to do. There's stuff that we
very much so
will be able to do that we're just not doing at the moment because we're not in venue. Super excited by that.
No, looking forward to that. And so I've seen that the World Series have kind of put out and said they're planning on there being a live World Series this year, but it won't be at the usual times. So that's again is feeling confident that we're going to start seeing some live poker towards the end of the year. I don't think before anyone starts asking, well, what are APAT going to do? We're not going to be in any rush to do anything. We're going to very much be taking advice from the venues and local, the government in the local countries that we're working with and seeing what we can do. But I know I was talking to Tom last week, and Malta are really keen to want to get going. As we've got an all-in and a call here, Ace King against Queen 3, and hit the Queen, and there's the Ace on the river.
Wow! And
that is going to be Jack departing in second place.
Wow!
And we have our winner is Leandro. Picks up a nice, picks up $245 from the prize pool. So this is the difference, Des, between first and second here. So they both pretty much pick up the same from the prize pool, both Leandro and Jack. Jack managed to get $70 worth of bounties, and Leandro picked up $340 worth of bounties.
Ouch!
More than doubled their prize pool payout. So yeah, it's picked up a nice nearly $600 for a $22 buy-in turbo tournament on a Sunday night. Lasted nearly 3 hours, and
nice.
And that one is done. So the only thing we've got left still running tonight now is the main event. We're down to 24 players in that. We're needing to get down to 16 tonight, and those 16 will then come back for a day 2 tomorrow at 7 o'clock.
We've got an interesting table here, Lee. We have one Mr. Paul Taylor, Tom Bacon, and Stefan Fisher, all known.
Excellent.
Alongside Mr. Delat.
Blinds are now 10,000, 20,000. So Tom's playing there with 12 bigs. Paul's got a nice stack. He's got 35 bigs, so he's in really nice position at the moment. Stefan's got a middle in the middle of the two of them, just under 20 bigs at the moment. But average stack is 670,000, so average stack is about 33 bigs. Chip leader at the moment is Mark Roovers from the Netherlands. Kerry Sweeney from Canada is in second, and Gustavo Pinto from Brazil third in chips. Absolute global player list here. There's this week.
Yes, they've all travelled in for the event.
Really? So with Netherlands, Canada, Brazil, Germany, Sweden, Mexico, Germany, Malta. We have to go down to 9th before we get someone from the UK. It's just, quite a few Brazilians playing tonight. Nikki Godin from Belgium is 15 chips at the moment.
Nice.
As well. So that's good.
So do you have?
As I say, we're playing down to 16. So we're down to 3 tables now.
Do you have any travel planned, Lee, for at any point in the near future? You're going to see the parents, or
no? Because they're not allowing people in at the moment. So
who won't allow people in?
Wales has opened up, so they're all opened up, but you still can't travel into Wales officially. Obviously, we can't leave at the moment. So the only thing I've got one thing booked up, which is a weekend away in November, first week, or might be last week in October, first week in November. Family member is getting married later on in the year, and they're doing a sten. Des.
A sten.
Yeah.
Jen
and I got invited to a sten, and we both looked blankly at each other.
Oh, is that a stag party and a hen party joined together?
It is exactly that.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
It's basically just a weekend away. So they've pre-booked an Airbnb somewhere down Cornwall way. For it's not loads. I think it's about 10 of us, I think, in total. But obviously, it's all done on the premise that everything's tickety-boo by then, and we can all get away. But that's the only thing we've got booked up at the moment. So.
Very good.
And everything depends on when Jen can get swimming again, as to what happens. Because try living with somebody that swims when they can't swim, and they use swimming as their kind of release.
Yeah, it's a bit difficult.
It's quite stressful.
Bit like living with Flipper, hey?
Yeah. So, but fingers crossed, leisure centres will open back up soon, and then then they can start.
I can't wait to get a haircut. That's all I want in life. A haircut. Just give me a haircut.
I can't decide what to do. Part of me just wants to just stick with it now.
You just want to go down the Jesus route? Oh, you're going to have to start in the beard.
I don't feel I've got to scouse
do the beard.
Levels yet. I don't think I've got the scouse levels, and that's what I feel. I feel like I want to get there before but it is starting to get a bit. What's the Liverpudlian comic? John
Bishop.
John Bishop, yeah.
What mullet?
Starting to get John Bishop like at the moment. So
no, I can't. It's just it's bugging me. It's bugging me because for large periods of time, it's sticking out now. It's sticking out.
Yeah, mine does as well. But I think people have now got used to it. So it used to get a lot of comments. People have got. I think if I got my hair cut back to how I used to have it now, people would be like, "Whoa!"
I can't even remember how you used to have it. It's been that long.
I'd had it that way for probably about 20 years, something like that.
Can't remember. I'd have to look at a picture.
Funnily enough, when I went to register at the doctor's, that was probably how I used to have it.
Okay.
So I don't know when I'm going to get my vaccine. I'm not sure how that's going to work now, because by the time I register up, I probably and then stuck in this April thing of there not being enough vaccines anymore or whatever, or what's going on. But I'm glad Jen managed to get hers done. She was in and out in 5 minutes. Really slick, super slick and sorted. No hanging about. Don't even let you sit down.
Yeah.
I personally, if it's me, I'd shut all the McDonald's, turn them all into vaccine drive-throughs. Yeah. And we'd rattle through this.
It's a good idea.
We would rattle through this.
But you remember what happened to Ticey when he shoved his arm into one of those, right?
Yeah.
Right. We should be aware of that. there are real dangers involved in shoving your arm in there.
There are. That is very true. But yeah, there's got to be I think the further down you get to the younger the demographic, I think the more, the quicker the process is going to be of just rattling through. No point messing about.
Sean's mom and dad have had the vaccination. Her sister and her sister's husband have both had it as well. Her sister is a nurse, so it's like a lot of people have had it. Wales seems to be quite advanced, really. I mean, it's opened up, hasn't it, to some degree? Yeah,
pretty much. They're back. Yeah, but you can now move around and go places and meet up with people and all that kind of thing. There's a little element of there's elections around the corner. Take it all with a bit of a pinch of salt. There is certainly a interestingly, they're behind. They were ahead on the vaccine rollout. They're now behind. So like my older brother's not had his vaccine yet, and he's 3 years older than me and Jen, and obviously Jen's had hers, and we know loads of people in their mid-40s in Dorset that have now had the vaccine. So Wales has now stepped behind, but they've decided to open things up, and it is a little bit because there are elections around the corner.
Well, that's
just the way it is.
Well, we're just gonna have to rock and roll with it, because there's an element of opening here in England from tomorrow, and I think from the 12th it gets, it just the door cracks open a good deal wider again.
Is it the 12th of April? Is that the pubs opening outside?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
And then the 12th of
barbers and stuff like that.
Yeah, and then the 12th or something of May is the next phase, and then the 21st of June is everything, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but the good thing is that was the plan that they put in place, and they're suggesting that they're still on target with that. So although they're monitoring things, and they reckon the numbers have gone up ever so slightly since the schools have gone back, they're not. It's not a level where they're concerned, and it's nice to see the it's nice to see. It's not nice to see the numbers when there's still people dying every day, but to see those numbers now down at a level which is far more manageable and not looking completely out of control, because it was scary. I mean, that during the winter time when we had that second wave, and the numbers were just, compared to the first time round, were just incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, that's proper scary stuff. You're thinking, well, if the vaccine hadn't come along when it did, how were you know, what exactly was the plan? Just stay in lockdown for 12 months. And it amazes me that a lot of Europe have a slow in getting their vaccine rollout going.
Well, France and Germany are in trouble again, right, with the third wave, and the vaccine is slow. There are problems there, so we just have to see how that, because this it sort of only works. It only works if it works for everybody.
Oh, there's no point in having the UK vaccinated going, hey, look at us, we're great, because you can't do anything. It just doesn't work. So you've got to help everybody to do it, and it's difficult to know what to believe. That's the problem. On one hand, you're getting told, you'll get European leaders saying they don't trust the AstraZeneca due to the blood clots, and then the next minute you're being told there's 15 million doses sat in fridges not being used, and then they're having a go saying we're not exporting the right numbers to them even though they don't want to use it. And you're thinking, well, hang on a minute, what do you believe, and is it just politics being played? And you'd hope it's not, but you do wonder at times it's the blame game, isn't it, of looking for somebody to hold responsible for the situation, because as long as your people don't think it's their own leaders, then they're quite happy. So if they can actually deflect the blame elsewhere, and that's not just European leaders, that's the UK as well. It works all ways, doesn't it? If you can deflect it elsewhere, then you crack on. But Biden looks to be kind of heading in the right direction with stuff.
It's interesting.
I was expecting more of a backlash than actually has happened in the US. Yeah,
well, I think a couple of things have happened. One, the whole backlash hasn't really happened. You're quite right. But two, the news channels have stopped talking about a lot of the stuff they were talking about previously. So he's been given a bit of a bit of breathing space, I guess. But I note that the governor of Texas opened up Texas. I mean, he took away all mask mandates. It's just, let's just
crack on, guys.
Crack on. And apparently the numbers have maintained some form of decency. They haven't spiked. So I think, Biden commented that it was a ridiculous thing to do. But
I think what you've got is a situation whereby as a population, as a human race, we are so much more switched on now than we were a year ago. I mean, you think that this time last year you had Liverpool versus Atletico Madrid. You had the Cheltenham racing packed for 4 days. Absolutely.
That's true. Cheltenham was insane.
All these things were going on, and there's a realization that that's not, you can't do that, and it isn't going to be a thing. I saw the Isle of Wight festival announced their lineup for this year. They're going for it in September, apparently, but they're all full steam ahead for that to happen. So they've got all the headliners have been announced and everything.
Like a full attendance.
Yeah.
There's no social distancing there.
For anyone that doesn't know, what's even more unique about the Isle of Wight festival is not just that it's a festival, like plenty of others, Leeds and Reading or Glastonbury or whatever. But to get there, you all need to pack onto a ferry.
But even if you didn't have to pack onto a ferry, festivals are not conducive to any type of social distancing. If you're in the crowd watching the music, you're going to be uptight. But I think what is fair to say is that I'm sure even with that audience, I would imagine a large percentage will still be careful in terms of the way that they do things.
I would imagine I would expect, to be honest, even in September, to see, I would have thought they will probably suggest that people should be wearing masks.
Yeah. I would think there'll be
most festival goers will probably go, that's not a problem. It's part of my get up for the weekend. Yeah. Not an issue whatsoever. I can do that.
It wouldn't surprise me if a percentage of the population from now until the end of their time wear masks in the way that we, have seen in China and Japan in the past for no apparent reason to us. But, some people would just say, well, I don't give a shit now. I'm happy to put a mask on and I'll wear it and I don't care.
Yeah. Well, there are benefits to all of this. I mean, I've normally I pick up, I don't know, a couple of heavy colds a year where you're properly, you're just knocked for six for a couple of days or whatever, and you're just knocked. Do you know what I mean? You're just knocked off your pace and I've never felt healthier.
Yeah,
for the last 12 months, never felt healthy. Haven't had a day where I've gone, oh, I feel a bit down. Not a bit of it, and that can only be from the fact that you're making sure that you're even more cleansing, than you normally would. But also the fact that you're having less contact with people that you actually a lot of the time you don't need to have contact with.
Yeah.
It just happens on a day-to-day basis, isn't it, really? And everybody else is being a lot more cautious. And is that a bad thing? I don't think it is. I wouldn't ever want it to affect anybody's well-being and mental health.
Oh, Stefan's all in here, people. Lee, in a race, and he's been outdrawn. He needs to hit a 10. Oh, 10 on the river.
Oh, there it is. Wow. Then, Des, you just call that one in.
Wow. Wow.
That's going to be a painful one for, I'm trying to think who it was.
Mr. Delat. That's a great catch. In fairness to Stefan, he was ahead at the start. But Stefan has said that he's working till 1900, so 7 p.m. tomorrow night. So he's probably going to have to start, if he makes it through the final 16, which we hope he does. He's going to have to start on his mobile phone.
See, there was me. I was straight looking for the Belgian flag because I just saw Delat and just thought that's going to be Belgium, 100%. That's going to be Belgium. And then I couldn't find him. And then I realized actually he's got a it's Baz. It's Baz Delat, who's got a Malta flag. So
interesting.
Out of Malta, but actually he's actually got 3 middle names in here. So he's Baz, Wilhelmus, Cornelius, Johannes Delat. So
that's a great name.
Yeah, so that was the reason why I was struggling to find him on
to place him.
That
is a great name.
Give him a shout out for his first name. So we're down to 21 players now, so we need to lose another 5. But Stefan has just got that double up that he desperately needed, and I saw Tom Bacon also got a double up as well.
So Stefan just under average, Lee, 660 versus 760. Tom's got a bit of work to do.
Yeah, but Tom is currently 17th. Of the 21 players remaining, as I say. So we're bringing back 16 for tomorrow. But I guess for someone like, certainly somebody like Tom, with Tom's experience of the game, making it through to the day 2 is kind of irrelevant. He's going to be looking to go as deep as he can in this tournament, and if it means making moves now, putting his tournament at risk in the right spots, he's going to do that. It's not going to be about it's not going to be anything to do with trying to make a day 2.
Well, Tom's pretty experienced. He'll he definitely knows what he needs to do. Speaking of which, Asa is saying, just seen that Salford's COVID rate is now at its lowest point since last August. Not surprising to see how utterly useless a lot of people are in wearing masks, so it's taken so long to get the rate back down.
I was going to say, well, it's the thing with Salford is that they change their manager so regularly that basically they always, it's never an issue. They just get a fresh person in and make sure that they're actually not tested positive. Yeah. So
Mike's saying, I think masks will become a bit of the norm and will be sold with your clothes, like a dress or suit, matched to look fashionable. So maybe it's like a tie or like a hanky in the, I mean, I could see that. I just don't think, Yeah, I just think there'll be people who'll wear them, and you know what? People will be accepting of it. And you're right, Lee. I mean, we haven't met many people, but it's true to say when you look at Formula One, so it came back again today, right? They've got 23 events, so it's the biggest schedule of events I think that they've probably ever had. But they've done winter testing. They had a bunch of races late last year. No COVID. Everybody just wear their masks, and they wear it outside of Formula One, and they wear it within Formula One, and just we're all a bit, less susceptible to just picking up any sort of bugs. Now, I'd hate to see that become the norm. I really would. I mean, I value a handshake.
But I mean, I don't go out. I don't go out much anyway. I mean, the only time I need a mask if ever I'm going into a shop for anything, if I go to the supermarket. But the thought of having to once a week stick a mask on to go around the supermarket for half an hour, it just doesn't really bother me. And if it was, I wouldn't even have an issue with if it was going to the football and it was a case of, well, actually you just wear a mask at the football. That's the deal, or any sporting event you're going to, whatever it might be. Yeah, I mean, I guess the difficulty comes when we talk about what we're doing. As Stefan just lost a big one there.
He's down to 10 blinds
against Kings. Yeah, he's right down in trouble now. But yeah, obviously, if we were talking about putting on a poker event, difficult. Do you want to sit at a table for 12 hours playing poker with a mask on?
Well, there's no question. Look, it's less. Sure. It's going to be. It's a different scenario, right? It's less comfortable than anything we've done before, but the chances are, you're just gonna. People are going to become accustomed to it, and they're going to become accustomed to sanitizing their hands and doing all of that sort of stuff, and it'll just become a habit. And I think a lot of us are, we're creatures of habit, right? So it just. We struggle to change, but once we do change, we adapt quickly, and we struggle to change to something else at a later date. So we'll see. But you just get a sense today that, generally speaking, everybody's out there wearing masks, and they've got no big issues with it. It's become less of a mental problem to be seen with a mask on.
Yeah, I was just looking to see, because I hadn't actually watched and seen any of the Formula One, and I just saw Asa saying epic race today.
Oh, it was great. Yeah, it was a fantastic race.
Go and see who. I won't spoil it just in case.
No, I won't say anything. No spoilers. Great race.
I've just seen the result, so
yeah. Have you?
I wouldn't watch it, so I've got.
Okay.
I wouldn't have any. No, I wouldn't have any time to watch it, so I've only.
Yeah. No, it was a great race.
Yeah. So as Asa says, wearing one for 8 hours a day, working in retail, annoying for a day or two. Now it's just habit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's actually nailed, Asa. Absolutely. That is pretty much what it will become for people.
And I think the masks are getting better, and they'll become even better again, over time. Just the tech behind them.
I've not even broken into my ultimate mask. I've not even worn my. I bought a. So I bought a couple of masks start of lockdown, which I've always just used one of those, never really bothered. It's just standard thing. But I also bought at beginning of lockdown an Under Armour.
Oh wow!
Mask.
Nice.
They're not cheap, but I thought, well, I'll just get a really good proper company, because this could be I might be needing multiple masks at some point here, so let's just get I'll order that whilst I was ordering some other gear. It's been in the packet. I've never used it, but it's there. But it's a proper sports mask for supposedly I don't know quite what it's designed to make me more efficient and something or other. I don't really know, but
fantastic. Now I want to buy one off Amazon with it.
Tom was all in. Tom was in against Baz there. Both of these 4, a couple of hearts on the board for Tom. Gave him an option of a double up, but it wasn't to be. But at least they chop it up. I'm not even sure where my.
Stefan's getting them all in this time. He's had a call from the player on his left, Gustavo Pinto. 7 blinds to call. He's got to get through Mr. Delat and Paul Taylor. It's 10 jack against 6s to race.
Brazil, so it's going to need to be a 10 jack or a queen.
We don't get it.
It's not there.
Unlucky Stefan.
unfortunately, he departs in 20th, which means we're now only 3 off, calling it a night. Few of our heroes, unfortunately, are down at the bottom there. Paul Taylor is currently short stack, and Tom Bacon is currently 15th of those 19 remaining players.
Nice go. Listen, we're going to lose Mr. Wigglesworth. We'll be going to bed shortly, he says, but just a bit of feedback.
Yeah,
great to see you back on the APAT show. That's nice to say. Finished the week off nicely. I think the 55 price tag is fine for the main. The guarantees, pleased with those two. The $11 comp's great, but I think a 2 times 55 is maybe a bit too much for most bankrolls. So a mix of 11, 22, and 33, I think would be comfortable for me personally with just the 2-day main at 55. Great to see Stefan still in. Oh, there was the Bach right there. And good luck to Kai taking down the PLO. Thank you, Mr. Wigglesworth, sir. Have a good night's sleep, and hopefully check in with us tomorrow night. We'll be here for the
I think I do
last
think
two events.
I think Pete might be right. I think maybe that PLO could be a 33, and maybe a couple of the 33s we could make 22s, and just mix them up a little bit, to make it a bit more.
It's more about participation, right?
Yeah, 100%, which is what the our weekly schedule is. You know, Monday to Wednesday it's $5 buy-ins, and then Thursday to Sunday it's $11. And we don't ever want them to be anything more than that. As Tom Bacon's all in with the queens, and he's got to avoid an ace. Oh, I say he's got to avoid an ace, and there it is.
Oh, he's got another one for a good
measure.
order.
And that is going to be Tom departing in 19th. And we are now 2 off, calling it a night.
Well, listen, Paul Taylor was the third player that we mentioned as we went to this table. And he's got to be in fear of his poker life at the moment because he's down to 7 big blinds. And we've lost the other 2 players we called.
And as I say, the guys, all of the guys here know it's not about making a day 2 in this. You're really not going to want to, you're already in the money. So it's a case of with 6 or 7 bigs, it's going to be a case of finding a spot and getting your chips in. And Paul's still got a stack against. It's only really Gustavo on this table, maybe Baz. And what he's going to be love seeing is Tim Rupquist, who's just joined the table, who's only got 12 bigs himself. Yeah. So he's got a couple of players here that he can actually. He has made the shove on Yuri. He makes the call. Ace 10 for Paul. He's in a good spot.
There's an 8.
Hit his 8. He's going to need to.
That's going to help.
Get there.
No, it doesn't get there.
It's not going to hit there, unfortunately. Right spot for Paul. Nothing you can do there. Well, the 3 players we've joined the table to watch.
Royally bocked them. Sorry, lads.
Just before the end of the day, but we are 1 player now away from it being calling it a night. We still got Tony Ross, but we're not going to his table because we're best not risk that. Yeah. Don't worry, Tony. We are not going to switch to your table.
I'll tell you what, I've got a great idea. Let's go to Tony Ross's table.
You are an evil man.
No, I'm not. I don't believe in this thing.
No, Tony's Tony's 13th at the moment of the 17 players remaining.
So we've got Nicky Godin here as well.
Yeah. So and he's got Tony's got a decentish stack. He's got about 15 bigs, something like that.
Triplin says, avoiding the APAT show, Bach, is always tough, to be fair. Unlucky Paul. Paul is in the chat box, says, good game. Sorry, Paul. I think we did it for you.
Yeah, but Paul picked up $210 tonight.
Nice score.
Cashing in this.
Yeah,
so
nice
it's quadruple your money. And hey, he might have even got in for less than the 55. I don't know. He might have got in for 550. Let us know, Paul, if you're still out there. If you did get in cheaper.
So
I want to hear someone that did the 55 cents. 55 cents into $5.50, $5.50 into the 55, and then goes and hits a decent, 4-figure score, like a grand or something like that. That would be amazing.
So Lee, listen, I want to ask you, who do you like on this table? Whose chances do you fancy?
Whose chances do I fancy? Yeah.
You've gone very quietly. You've gone very quiet.
Well, what?
You just name 1 or 2 players who you think will make it into the last 16.
Well, who I think will be good enough to get in here. Yeah.
No, I'm only playing games. I don't want to name any players at this point.
No. We're good because we've got the chip leader here, Mark Roovers from the Netherlands, and
Kerry Sweeney looks pretty secure as well. It has to
Kerry
be said.
Sweeney from Canada is third in chips at the moment, so I would imagine he's going to be pretty safe.
He's in with aces. Well, this will test. This will test.
And that is going to be that, good. I think. Yeah, it is, and that is going to be. That's going to be down to 16 players. We are going to lose Nicholas Dugas.
Is that it?
That will be us down to 16 players, and that will be the tournament paused for the night.
Wow. Well, listen, Stefan is saying here I played the 550 feeder.
Brilliant.
And,
well
Christensen
done,
said, "Is
Stefan.
that the kiss of death?" Yes, it is the kiss of death. If we call you out, that is the kiss of death. We have killed a few tonight, unfortunately, in poker terms, but we're through the night, Lee.
We are certainly through the night. So let's just quickly wrap up what we've seen tonight. So we started off with the deep stack, started at 5 o'clock. We had 185 entries in that. Ilias Buzzatolo from the UK picked up $1,153 in that. Fair play to you. We've just watched the main event. That started at 7 p.m. 320 runs in that. We've got 16 remaining. So Mark Roovers, as we mentioned, is chip leader in that. We'll be back to follow that tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. We're also going to keep an eye on the PLO tomorrow. 14 players coming back for that 2 tables. Kai Hutchison is our chip leader in that. They're playing for $1,373 up top. That, and we watched the end of the March closer, which started at 9 p.m. That had 118 runners, and Leandro from Brazil picked up just shy of $600 for a $22 buy. And I should have mentioned, the one thing I didn't mention is the top prize in the main event for tomorrow night, $3,684.
Wow. That's
top
great.
4 players will all hit over $1,000 tomorrow night.
Well, that's something to that is something to look forward to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, listen, to all of you guys who played with us this week, thank you very much. We appreciate it. There isn't going to be a week delay. We are back tomorrow night from 7 o'clock to see out the PLO and the main event final stages. So do join us for that. And until then, I'll bid you good night.
Night, guys.